Prime Minister Trudeau appointed someone who has spent the last years with confrontation, with dividing speech.
Obviously, she has thought carefully over many years about the impacts that various pieces of legislation, various political positions have had.
More of division created by Justin Trudeau within our country. Despite Quebec's strong opposition to Amira El-Gawabi, a Canadian journalist and human rights defender, being appointed Canada's special representative on combating Islamophobia, Mr. Trudeau is ignoring Quebecers and moving forward. That is why today Ruben News is taking action with a petition calling for the immediate dismissal of this person who made unacceptable comment about Quebec. Go to fireamira.com. But first of all, let me put you in context. In 2019, in a column published in the Ottawa Citizen, Amira El-Gawabi wrote that the majority of Quebecers seems to be influenced not by the rule of law, but by anti-Muslim sentiment. She tried to make it clear that this quote was related to the adoption of Bill 21 in Quebec on the wearing of religious signs by people in position of authority, and based on a poll Léger that stated that 88% of Quebecers who supported Bill 21 had a negative perception of Islam. These comments are highly discriminatory, offensive, polarizing, and full of judgment on the people of Quebec. That is an unjustified and unfounded accusation, especially for someone in the federal government. In an interview with La Presse, El-Gawabi had argued that her column had been misunderstood. I want to be very clear. I don't think the vast majority of Quebecers are Islamophobic, she said. The Globe and Mail, on their Twitter, had published an open editorial by University of Toronto philosophy professor Joseph Hell. Finally, it should be noted that the largest group of people in this country who have been victims of British colonialism, subjugated and forcibly incorporated into Confederation are French Canadian. About this quote, the activist wrote, "I'm going to puke." Can you imagine? On Tuesday night, members of Quebec legislature passed a motion calling for the dismissal of Justin Trudeau, new special advisor on Islamophobia, calling the El-Gawabi hiring just more of Trudeau's government endorsing contempt for Quebecers. Also, in several of her writings, Madame El-Gawabi speaks against Canada Day, which she says it's too European, which also speak against the police, against the monarchy, and even that the Queen is racist, and so on. Members of the CAQ, including Minister Jean-François Roberge, called for an apology and the withdrawal of her word. However, according to Mr. Roberge, she was simply trying to justify her odious remark. The Quebec government was clear about Amira El-Gawabi's resignation. There is no place for this kind of hateful, discriminatory, and heinous speech in the government of Canada. This is not the first time Justin Trudeau has hired somebody with bigot view to lecture Canadians on hate. Late last year, it was discovered that federal government gave $600,000 to an organization headed by Late Marut, another so-called human rights advocate, who made multiple anti-Semitic posts and called French Canadian an ugly language and accused a French speaker of having an IQ of less than 77 and has called French speakers frogs no less than 6 times. Mr. Trudeau once again showed how much he wants to polarize Canada by appointing an extremely polarizing person as Canada's special representative to fight Islamophobia. To discriminate and defame a province with Islamophobic remark is unforgivable. But also, her statements to this day are simply unacceptable. Trudeau said that he was satisfied with El Gawabi's response to these controversial speech. But why should we have a representative for the fight against Islamophobia? It just makes assumption that Canada is Islamophobic, which is far from the reality. So if you also want Mr. Trudeau to send back Amira El-Gawabi, then send massively our petition at fireamira.com, and we will issue the petition to the federal government. Thank you. It was Alexa for Ribbon News. If, like us, you find that Amira El-Gawabi have no place in the government of Canada by not only what she say, but by